Notaries beware. Signing agencies hate the things that I'm about to go through. And if you're a notary just getting into the industry, if you're an experienced notary, you probably don't even realize you're doing some of these things. And this will help you save some money and keep you having a clean face. So if you stay till the end of this video, I'll explain out to you a couple of the things. So who am I? My name is Suave. I've been in the notary business for about going on 8 years by the end of this year. And I've started as a notary and grown to the point to where I'm making millions in my notary business. And I've also scaled it to the point where I have a hybrid type of signing agency. So not the traditional signing service or signing agency that you guys know, but it's something that's similar to those. Hence the reason why I'm very credible to speak on things like this. And I see this happening tons of times. And honestly, it's very annoying. So I will say one of the biggest things would be your impatience, right? And I don't want this video to be one of those things where it's like I'm speaking down on notaries or anything like that. But this is just me giving my honest truth, being able to see it from a different point of view. So I'm able to explain what it looks like on the other end. So I would say one of the biggest things would be impatience. So when it comes to working with notaries and so on and so forth, what a lot of you guys don't realize is that a lot of the owning the signing agency, it comes with the process. So when the money is coming in from the clients and to get it to you, it doesn't always come instantly. And this is one of the reasons why you'll see a lot of the people in the notary business, well, a lot of the agencies will say, all right, there's going to be a net pay of X amount of days. The reason they have to do this is because a lot of times they're waiting for the money to settle, right? And when the money settles, it gets to you. And then when the money settles, they're able to get it to you. This can be annoying, I know, especially on your guys' behalf, because you're like, okay, I just did my notary job. Why can't I just get paid right now? Well, the money didn't get paid in right now. You know what I'm saying? It didn't come in as fast as you wanted to, so you can't get paid out as fast as it is. And what a lot of you guys tend to do, and I see this a lot of times, you'll tend to go on and bash other companies as soon as things don't happen as fast as you want them to. This is bad. This is not something that you should be doing at all, because first off, right now we live in an information age. So it's very easy for other companies and other signing agencies to see who's bad mouthing them. And what you guys don't understand is when you're bad mouthing all these companies, not only can they see, but they also speak amongst each other. Like, oh, okay, you might not want to work with this notary because if one little hiccup happens, they're going to drag your company through the mud. And what happens is you can get yourself put on a blacklist for companies not to want to work with you. So because you didn't get paid as fast as you wanted to, which I completely understand, you did the job. But on the other end, it's like, okay, we're not going to run off with the money. We're going to pay you, but it's not going to come in one day as you might think it will. But when you go out of your way to, badmouth other companies and you're doing this in a public sense, not only are other notaries seeing it, which is what I know most of you guys want, but companies are seeing it. And when you get put on a list, now you're making it harder for yourself. So you're really just shooting yourself in your own foot. You know what I'm saying? So you want to avoid trying to do that as much as possible. I would say the best thing to do is to have as much direct communication with these companies as you can. So this way you can avoid having to, put your name on the line. Because I know some of you guys might want to go to forums or you want to get into group chats and do that stuff. But like, you got to remember, there's eyes everywhere, right? So you thinking that you're doing a disservice to that company because you're talking bad about them. But most notaries are going to see that. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, this company X, and X, and then weeks later they're gonna work with them. But you, on the other hand, that took the time out of your day to badmouth that company, now you're written down as a DNW, which is a do not work. And then when other companies see like, oh, this person's a DNW, why would they want to work with you? You see what I'm saying? Like, was it really worth that amount that you got paid to never have another company want to work with you? So this is not to scare you. It's just one of those things where it's like, be wise. Like, we live in the information age. Everything is online. So if everything is online, why would you want to like badmouth publicly? So another thing I will say is communication. And I know this is off the dome because this is something I just want to share with you guys. So please excuse my handwriting. But next up is communication. it's very, very, very important as a notary to have communication. And this is on the signing agent side. So if you're a signing service, you need to understand this. And as a signing agent or a mobile notary, you need to understand this. Communication is key. Because what tends to happen is clients can be very finicky. They might want something done now, and then 1 hour later, they might want it done a week from now. But what happens, and what I've tend to see, is the miscommunication between the agencies and the notaries tend to cause some sort of discomfort towards them. So for example, you'll have a client that comes in and said they want a job done at 6 a.m. And then they'll call an hour later, and then they'll say like, I don't want it at 6 a.m. I want it at 7 p.m. But if the agency does not say this clearly to the notary, now it's like miscommunication. Now the notary's like, oh, you guys are bad. You guys keep switching the time. When honestly, it was just the agency's in this scenario, it was just the agency's fault that they didn't communicate that. Or if the client reaches out to the agency and says, hey, we want this many documents signed, and then ends up being more, it's like you have to be able to, as an agency owner, you need to be able to communicate these things effectively to the notaries. And the same thing on the notary's half now. If you go to a location and the client only has 3 stamps that needs to be done, but it turns out when you get there that it's 10, you need to say this to these agencies like as soon as you figure that out. Because what you guys will tend to do is you'll go there and you'll get paid for 3 signings, but when you'll get there, it'll actually be 10 stamps. But then you actually do the job, do all 10 stamps without letting the agency know, and then come back and say like, hey, you guys need to pay me more because of this, and that. And it'll just be like out of the blue. So I would say on both halves, communication needs to be very clear, very upfront, very forthcoming, and very honest. You see what I'm saying? Like all of this stuff needs to be honest with each other. You need to have as much communication as possible, and you need to have little impatience as possible. These are things that make people want to work with you more. I would say flexibility. Your ability to have flexibility is going to be one of the determining factors on whether companies want to work with you again as a notary. Because if you're one of those notaries where, okay, as soon as some sort of small little hiccup comes in, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't work with this company. They're so unprofessional. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't do this because this and that. Your flexibility is what allows and grants agencies the ability and the opportunity and the willingness to want to work with you, because they know that, okay, I can work with this notary and I don't even mind paying them more because I know if something pops up, they're going to help me get around this in the most professional manner. Although I will say as an agency owner, you shouldn't expect this out of notaries, but what I'm saying to the notaries is if you can be flexible, if you can communicate, if you can be patient, these are going to be the things that pushes you to the top of the list. Because what I've tend to realize is most notaries have never owned a business before. A lot of times it's their first time doing these different signings, or it's their first time running a business. So when they're doing this, it's one of those things where it's like, it's their first time. So then they're not used to things going wrong. But as a business owner, you're used to things going wrong. So just become flexible as an individual to be able to maneuver situations, communicate, be patient, because you're gonna get pushed to the top of the list. So for example, a lot of companies have priority lists, and you want to be on a priority list. A priority list pushes you to the top. So anytime there's somebody in your area, you're gonna be the first one that they're called. As people know that, okay, I can work with this person. They can bend without breaking. A lot of you guys tend to break, talk bad about the company, not flexible. Why would a company owner want to work with you if that's the case? You can just find somebody else. You can literally find somebody else, train them up, and then work with them rather than working with this notary where if one thing goes bad, they're going to drag your name through the mud. You see what I'm saying? That's not something that you want. You don't need to be a notary like that. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I need to come on here and express this to you guys so that you guys understand what's going on. Because I'm seeing it, and I'm like, sometimes when I go through forums and I'm just reading these other notaries' comments, because sometimes I'll go there too to see what notary not to work with. Sometimes when I see things like this, I'm like, okay, cool, don't work with that notary. Okay, cool, don't work with that notary. Okay, cool, don't work with that notary. Because I know on the other end, notaries will go and they'll, you know what, I'll put truthful here. What I tend to realize a lot too and this is just full transparency. It's You'll have a decent amount of notaries that are untruthful. So they'll go onto this forum saying, "Hey, this person didn't pay me," or this, and that. This company didn't pay me, but they won't tell the full story. They'll only tell half of the story. They might have showed up to the appointment 3 hours late with no communication, and then didn't get the documents notarized, and then still want to get paid. Or maybe the customer canceled and we let them know before they left the house, and they're still like, "Oh no, I still want to get paid though." They'll say things like this will happen, and then they'll still go on the forum like, "Oh, this company doesn't pay. Oh, badmouth this company." Be truthful. Be truthful, because there's always people watching. Same thing with employers. Like in this day and age, employers are watching your social media. They're seeing the type of people you are. They can get a full read on you before you even walk into the door. It's the same way with companies and agencies. These are $1 million businesses, or six-figure businesses. Of course, they're going to find out who to work with and who to not work with. So if you're a notary, and even signing agencies, beware of things like this. That impatience, that communication, that flexibility, and that truthfulness, these are super important. And this is one of those videos that people are going to try to skim over. But I'm telling you, if you're a notary like this, go ahead and put that in the comments below too, because the companies I know, myself included, would love to work with notaries like this. But all the other ones that are impatient, they're quick to judge, they're quick to run to a form and drag through the mud. Best believe that these companies are watching you guys, and they're putting you on a blacklist to not work. You're getting put on a D&W list, and then you guys are the same ones wondering why can't I get any business? That's why you're difficult to work with. Why would we want to work with you? So just keeping it real with you guys. You know me. Knowledge. That's the best thing I can do with you guys. But if you have any questions, just put it in the comments below. Let me know. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. And if you're a notary looking to grow your business and understand how to grow successfully, let me know. I got a video at the end of this that will explain everything to you guys. Peace, love, and your boy Knowledge is out. If you found this helpful, make sure to join our free Notary Knowledge Academy. It's the #1 community for all notaries. And if you need one-on-one mentorship on how to grow your business from 3 to 8K plus in your notary business, all the links are down below. Go ahead and click that, and I'll see you guys on the inside.